Welcome to another episode of Touring the AFC South, episode 349. And on this episode, we'll be talking about signings, and releases within the AFC South. I am your host, Mike Patton. Of course, you can follow me on, the artist formerly known as Twitter, at Mike Patton82. You can also follow me on Blue Sky, same thing, Mike Patton82, Instagram and threads at the THA, not THE underscore general underscore MP. Just going to take a quick pause for 1 second. Got to take care of one thing real quick, people. All right, and we are back. Sorry about that temporary break, but hey, again, of course, you can follow me on my social medias. I already mentioned those ahead of time. Of course, this episode we will be talking about injuries, signings, and releases. But we're gonna start off with the injuries in the AFC South. But of course, we'll do that in 1 second. First thing I want to say, hey, you're probably wondering where I've been for the past week. Didn't do an episode, of course, but I was at something that was very productive for me, which is the National Association of Black Journalists Convention. I was at that in Cleveland. Yes, first time ever going to Cleveland, Ohio. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. The camaraderie, seeing a lot of people around the sports business and just in journalism business as well was quite great to see. Got to learn a few things, sit in on a few sessions, and take some notes, and hopefully be applying those notes to all the different things that I'm going to be doing going forward. I just want to say thank you to the National Association of Black Journalists for having the convention again, having some of the sessions that I was able to sit in, and just all the things that went around it, and just all the beautiful, wonderful Black people that I saw, with smiles and having fun and enjoying each other's company and giving each other their flowers while can still smell them. I greatly appreciated my time there, and I can't wait till next year when it will be in Atlanta, Georgia. Just had to say that off top. Of course, plenty of people probably wondering where I've been, but hey, that's where I've been. But hey, I'm back now in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm going to start off with talking injuries with a team in Nashville, Tennessee, and that is the Tennessee Titans. Yes, there is injury news. I'm going to start off with the positive injury news first, though. Center Lloyd Cushenberry, he was injured towards his Achilles towards the end of last season. Of course, done for the year. Good positive news for him is he actually passed his physical pretty recently, and he is now off the physically unable to perform list and on the field. He practiced today against the Atlanta Falcons in the joint practices that the Titans started on Tuesday, which is at the time of the recording. Yes, so it was great that for the Titans that he's back out there. One, and second, you get more time with him joining the full offensive line with J.C. Latham at right tackle, Kevin Zeitler at guard, Cushenberry, of course, center. You've got Skoronski at left guard, and then at left tackle you got Dan Moore Jr. So with the full complement of the line back now, you can get to see them gel and learn each other. So that way they can, when they fire off the ball, they can, get those double teams, get all those different things, and get the the sync, get in sync with each other on the field with each move that they make. So great thing for the Tennessee Titans that center Lloyd Cushenberry is back. Bad thing for the Tennessee Titans is Tyjae Spears, running back, is out. He sprained his ankle, it was a high ankle sprain against the Tampa Bay Bucks, and was out for the game. He's going to miss reportedly multiple weeks. So it's going to be just definitely a thing for him, fighting off injuries, because last year he dealt with a lot of injuries with the Tennessee Titans. Wasn't necessarily what they wanted. They wanted, when they started it, they wanted to have 50% of 50-50 between Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears, but unfortunately that did not happen. Tyjae Spears did not get to bring his 50%. But Pollard, he was able to have a career year, but it did come as a cost with injuries and things like that he had to deal with as the season went on. So with that being said, that's kind of where they are with terms of Tyjae Spears. You could go back potentially to Tony Pollard having to get more carries like last season, which is not what the Titans want to do. They want to split up the carries between Pollard and Spears, but if he's not there, it could go more Pollard. However, there's other options there. That you do have a Julius Chestnut. I will say he did put one on the ground today against the Atlanta Falcons. That's not good. But you have an option of Julius Chestnut, and you also have an option of Khalil Mullings, the rookie. You have an option of him. Now, he is wearing number 28, which plenty of people know with the Tennessee Titans, that is the number of Mr. Chris Johnson. However, he is not a Chris Johnson. He's not as fast as Chris Johnson. I don't think anybody really is. But he is a guy that could be a solid running back, given time and experience and time to learn the system of the Tennessee Titans under head coach Brian Callahan. Now, that'll be interesting just to see what develops there, what changes with Tyjae Spears out. We'll just have to see what happens and how things go with the Tennessee Titans. Switching over to the Houston Texans, Brevin Jordan. Man, tight end from the University of Miami. Of course, last year he didn't make it through the entire season, tore his ACL in week 2. And unfortunately, he tore his ACL again, I believe. He's out for the season. What happened was, per the report of DJ Ben-Ami, who is the ESPN.com reporter for the Houston Texans, he was basically in tears on Monday after trying to catch a pass down the seam from CJ Stroud and trying to do so. Of course, he went up to try to catch it and just landed, just never really got off the ground, was in tears and got carted off the field. The fear was, of course, a torn ACL. I believe that's been confirmed that he has a torn ACL again and will be out for the season, which is pretty rough when it comes to Mr. Brevin Jordan. Now, the thing with Brevin Jordan is he actually signed a 1-year extension for $2.1 million going into this season. So he's a free agent after this season. This was supposed to be a year that could be big for him and for him to actually, up his stock, maybe sign with the Texans again, or go to another team in the NFL that is looking for a nice athletic tight end. Now, Brevin Jordan is, by far to me, the most athletic of the tight ends that the Houston Texans had. They missed him some last year. They brought in the rookie from Ohio State, which I get that, but you miss that athleticism that when he catches the ball, he could potentially go all the way with it. We've seen him do it in the playoffs a couple years ago. So, unfortunately, he's out again for the season, which has got to be tough to, come back, tear it in ACL, come back from it, build yourself back up, only to tear it again. I know mentally that has to be a tough thing to go through for him. However, I'm rooting for Brevin Jordan. Hopefully he's able to recover again, and whether he plays with the Houston Texans next season or he plays with another team, hopefully he's able to get back to 100% and get out there and make the plays that we're used to seeing him make. So that'll be interesting just to watch. Going over to another team, we're going to go to the Colts. And I know a lot of Colts fans, some are breathing a sigh of relief and some are just, I don't know, trying to just get some breath going right now when it comes to Anthony Richardson. Now, Anthony Richardson, he was, basically starting the game against the Baltimore Ravens, dropped back to pass, and boom, he gets earholed basically at quarterback. And when he fell down, of course, he dislocated his pinky. I thought it was broke at first, but he dislocated his pinky. Looked pretty ugly. It looked like his pinky was making an upside down L. That's not good. But basically, the good thing for him is he was actually back at practice, very, very pretty quickly. It wasn't a season-ending injury. It wasn't a broken pinky, which would have been huge for him in terms of not, being able to secure the starting spot for this season. Yeah, that would have been rough. But instead, of course, the quarterback battle does go on between him and Daniel Jones. Right now, of course, they've had their good days, they've had their bad days. Any way it goes, I don't think the Colts fans would really complain. No. They probably are complaining when it comes to getting solid quarterback play when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts, because the team around the quarterback play is solid. It's solid. However, when it comes to the quarterback play, it leaves a lot to be desired the last few years. If they could get solid quarterback play with the running game, the solid wide receivers, they could make some noise. But that's always the question when it comes to them, and we'll see what happens when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts and that quarterback position. Okay, now I do want to kind of talk about one other guy that was nicked up when it came to the Indianapolis Colts. That was Kenny Moore. ESPN Stephen Holder was talking about it. Basically, he had kind of a little nicked up in a knee injury. It was on this past Sunday in training camp. Good thing for the Colts. Again, it wasn't super serious. It's expected for him to be just fine. Also, with Justin Wally, the rookie they had, it was coming on, tearing his ACL. And then you've got Jalen Jones and you've got Juju Brents, both nursing hamstring issues. They need Kenny Moore. Kenny Moore is probably their second best corner behind Mooney Ward. Mooney Ward is the guy they brought over in free agency from the San Francisco 49ers. Now, Kenny Moore is probably one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. And if they were to miss him and that happened, that would be a rough thing to come back for the Indianapolis Colts. So with it being a minor injury in terms of a knee injury for Kenny Moore, hey, you're breathing a huge sigh of relief if you're an Indianapolis Colts fan. Now, the thing they're wondering is, can we get some solid quarterback play? Speaking of solid quarterback play, we're going to talk about someone that wasn't quite as solid when he got his opportunity to play quarterback. Which team that is, you'll find out next after the commercial break on Touring the AFC South with your host, Mike Patton.
EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash are two of the best beard grooming products for men worldwide. They help promote growth, keep your beard moisturized and soft, and enhance your overall upkeep of your facial hair. And with the new promo code MPAFC10, you can get 10% off of these products. Just go to www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. Again, that's www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. And again, the promo code MPAFC10. Again, MPAFC10, where you can get 10% off any products except for beard boxes. So treat your beard better today by going to get the EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash.
All right, and we are back on Touring the AFC South. And like I mentioned before the commercial break, there was one guy that played quarterback this past weekend, and he had a chance to make some things happen. Unfortunately, they did not happen very well for him. That quarterback was playing, I should say, for the Tennessee Titans. His name was Tim Boyle. He had a rough one versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. 413, 2 interceptions. Yikes. That wasn't what Tennessee Titans fans wanted to see. Now, we do know that Tim Boyle was, listed as the third quarterback behind Brandon Allen, of course, behind Cameron Ward. But, you would like for your third quarterback, a guy that's kind of been around the league for a little bit, to come in and play solid quarterback, play. And, of course, there's still some Titans fans that have questions about Brandon Allen. So when he came in for 413, 2 interceptions, it was a rough thing for Titans fans to watch. And I've seen some Titans fans on social media saying, hey, I turned the game off. So some of them didn't actually even see the throws by Tim Boyle after of course, they turned off the game after Cameron Ward was out there. So with that being said, some fans were happy and some fans didn't even know it was coming, that Tim Boyle was released by the Tennessee Titans. Now, course, it is what it is. He's the third quarterback, so it isn't a big, huge thing. It just kind of tells me that, Brandon Allen is going to be the backup quarterback here for the Tennessee Titans. It just is. Now, plenty have wondered and wanted them to bring in like a Carson Wentz. I've heard that name, so don't say I'm crazy. But plenty of us talked about a Carson Wentz or other quarterbacks and bringing them in to be the backup to Cameron Ward. However, that has not materialized, nor has it happened. And, if you listen to what Coach Callahan says, if you still listen to what Coach Callahan says, he's going to be the backup, and Brandon Allen is going to be the backup. Now, we do have a comment from the Torn the AFC South inbox from Corey Jackson Sr. Said, yikes, get AOC reps from the Raiders on line one, please. I will tell you that I'm not sure that is a great option either, to be honest. I mean, he's shown some flashes, but he's also shown some things that make you want to cover your eyes too. So we don't know, but right now it's looking like Brandon Allen. And Brandon Allen has shown some things to make you cover your eyes too, but he's also shown some other things as well. And plus, he's comfortable in the system that Brian Callahan runs, being that he is from the Cincinnati Bengals, has been with the Cincinnati Bengals at some point in time during his career. But getting back to Tim Boyles, they had to release him because, honestly, they've done a lot of things with this roster, trying to find the back end pieces, whether it be linebackers, whether it be wide receivers and things like that. The Titans have done those things this offseason. So to me, it's just basically them going along with what they've always done this offseason, and that is trying to strengthen the back end of this roster, along with just making this roster overall the best they can possibly make it. And in doing that, Tim Boyle wasn't going to be it. He just was not going to be it. It is what it is. And like I said, I can see Brandon Allen being the backup quarterback. I can just see it happening. Titans fans are going to hate it or love it. They're going to hate it if he has to go in the game. Some will hate it, I should say. Some will hate it. And who knows? Brandon Allen may surprise. He may surprise some Titans fans with how he goes in and plays. However, it could be the other way around too. So, it could be like he could go in there and you could basically not know what you're going to get. Like, he could be the Forrest Gump of quarterbacks when he goes in there. We don't know, but we'll see. And hopefully for Titans fans, you don't have to see if Brandon Allen goes in there, and hopefully Cameron Ward is basically the quarterback from here on out. So as far as that, got another comment from the Torn the AFC South inbox. Said, I want Teddy Two Gloves. Unfortunately, you can't have Teddy Two Gloves because he's with Tampa Bay right now, and I don't see him leaving Tampa Bay. Teddy Two Gloves, for those that don't know, Teddy Two Gloves is Teddy Bridgewater, by the way. And by the way, I want to say this about Miami Northwestern and Teddy Bridgewater. He should still be coaching there, one. He was taking care of his kids, number two, and kids being his high school football players. And he was a role model for them. And he got punished for being a role model for them and trying to help his kids with the means that he had. I could see if it was like extra benefits he's providing and all these different things in terms of trying to lure players from other schools and things like that. But no, he was truly trying to take care of his players. And for that, he got punished. And I don't like it. I still don't like it. I'm still mad about it. But hey, that's Miami Northwestern's thing to deal with. If they want to go back to not winning games and not being the top of the world, at one point they were at the top of the world. I know plenty remember it back in the early 2000s. But anyway, they're probably not going to be there anymore in terms of the top of the world, in terms of Florida football. Teddy B, you did my man Teddy B wrong. Now, I know y'all thinking Teddy B. No, I'm not saying Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy B is what I'm saying. B for Bridgewater. Okay, there we go. All right, so going to talk about a few signings. We're going to talk about those. I just want to kind of go over the cut that happened this week, but we're going to talk about the signings this week as well. We're going to talk about two of them. Who those two are, you'll find out after the commercial break on Touring the AFC South.
A shift. A shift is something that happens and changes the dynamics. And that's what happened when Garrett Logistics was born. After 10 years as a sales pro in the logistics world of sporting goods, John Garrett decided to pivot to the world of freight and start a brokerage. So you're saying to yourself, why trust Garrett Logistics? Well, Garrett Logistics helps shippers improve overall workflow, along with increased on-time pickup and delivery percentages. Last-minute loads, multi-drop pickups, and more are part of the services with Garrett Logistics. They're available Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., all times Central Standard Time. So give them a ring at 615-400-8484. That's 615-400-8484, or you can email them at john@garrettlogistics.co or visit their website at garrettlogistics.co. Garrett Logistics, where the motto is, it's not just freight to us, it's your business.
All right, and we are back on touring the AFC South. And like I mentioned before the commercial break, we're going to talk about signings that happened in the AFC South. Now, I just mentioned that Tim Boyle is gone from the Tennessee Titans. He is no longer on that roster, but one guy is on the roster. That's down the roster. It's Trevor Siemian. Yes, former great. No, he's not Rocco great. But anyway, he did play pretty solid for them at one point in time for the Denver Broncos, and he now is the third quarterback in the room for them. He actually played for the Tennessee Titans before. He's played for a few other franchises in the NFL as well. A nice veteran backup, come in and definitely take some reps and make some things happen. And as we see in Atlanta on Tuesday, he actually got to step in there a little bit quicker than what he thought, because Brandon Allen ended up having to go inside today after I don't know if he got rolled up on or what happened, but there was some kind of issue. But he was limping. Brandon Allen went in. Trevor Siemian steps in, throws a few passes, hooks up with a few players, most notably Bryce Oliver as well. So definitely can say he kind of picked up where he left off, or I guess picked up where he left off in terms of playing football. There you go. That's what I got. But anyway, Trevor Siemian is now in there as one of the quarterbacks of the Tennessee Titans. Gives him a lot more experience in terms of being a backup. Also, gives them a guy that started a few games in the NFL. Tim Boyle has not started any games in the NFL. Trevor Siemian, he got a pretty good amount of those in the NFL. Not saying he's got the greatest arm, but he is a guy that can get in there and give you, some throws, things like that, and, kind of manages the game for you. He's done those things when he was playing in Denver. So that's a guy that has been added to the Tennessee Titans roster. And if, Allen is out for any, extended period, maybe a couple days or a week or something of that nature, hey, Trevor Siemian can step in until Allen is ready, or, who knows, they may explore other options. We'll see. You don't know. But what I will say is another guy you will see for the Houston Texans is Jalen Mills. He just signed with the Houston Texans. Of course, if you did not know, DJ Bieniemy, again, giving us great reporting. Also, along with Kim Y. Davis. If you don't know who that is, you don't know who she is, you need to look her up. She covers the Houston Texans as well. But CJ Gardner-Johnson had a pretty rough injury when they were in West Virginia doing a little bit of training camp, and he hurt his leg basically. Currently, right now, they haven't went into the extent of it, but they will say that they did put out the information that he did not tear his ACL. So that was a positive thing when it came to the looking at his knee, kind of examining it and getting an expert opinion on it. However, he will miss some time. So with him missing time, apparently there's some legal issues out there with Jimmy Ward, which I missed that. I don't know how I missed that one, but anyway, with that being said. Now they brought in Jalen Mills. Now, Jalen Mills is the former Philadelphia Eagle, former New England Patriot, former New York Jet as well. He's made a few rounds in the NFL. He's a guy that came into the NFL as a cornerback, actually. Then he eventually got switched to play safety. He's been there ever since. he's a guy that's got a lot of veteran experience, played in a good bit of different defenses, and he knows what he's doing back there at the safety position. Now with the Cullen Bullocks there as a youngster back there and going to the second year, he gives you another veteran voice back there to go with the Jimmy Morris, to go with a young veteran in Jalen Petrie, who just got paid this offseason, by the way. And congrats to him on that. I'm not counting his pockets. No, I'm saying congratulations for him. But definitely is a guy with veteran leadership that you want in your locker room to kind of help guide the young guys along and give them some tips and try to help them to keep it together. Now, before the season, I talked about the Houston Texans and their safety group, which I felt was the best in the NFL. When they hit the C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Jalen Petrie, you got Kellen Bullocks is still there. You've got some players. You got Jimmy Ward, who is your fourth safety was your fourth safety with C.J. Gardner-Johnson healthy, but he's not healthy right now. So, it took a little bit of a hit with that depth at safety spots. I can't really say they're the best going into the season, but they were on paper going into the season. Hopefully for the Texans, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is able to heal up and get back to them at some point this season. And hopefully for them that Jalen Mills is able to do a few things for them and mainly keep things together on the back end of that defense and make a few plays perhaps as well. We'll see what happens. All right, that's the end of the show. We talked about the injuries. We talked about the who got released, and we also talked about the signings in the AFC South. Again, if you don't know, I'm Mike Patton, the host of Touring the AFC South. Of course, again, you can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter at Mike Patton82. That's MikePatton82. You can also find me in Blue Sky. Same thing. You can also find me on Instagram and Threads at that's THA, not THE, _general_MP. You can find Touring the AFC South on all listening platforms, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it, we are there. You can also find Touring the AFC South on the Mike Patton Network on YouTube. And what I'd like for you to do is go ahead and subscribe, and click that bell on the Mike Patton Network so you don't miss any episodes when they drop. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Touring the AFC South. We're out. Peace.